Hey everybody, this is Colby, the British Barista. I wanted to do a little bit different of a video, and this time kind of talk about how I got into coffee and how I got to where I am right now. So I started getting into coffee around 2019, and back then I was deployed to Kuwait, and I spent a month up in Iraq. And while I was up there, the Army unit that I supported, they had a Breville Barista Express in this little coffee shop that you could go into. You pay $2, you make your own coffee, and that was kind of like an eye-opening event for me. Up until that point, I was drinking Starbucks or whatever local coffee shop was around me, and just didn't really know any better. I started making my own coffees and iced lattes and realized very quickly that my coffee that I made was delicious. I really enjoyed it. And I realized how easy it was to do it myself too. So I did that for about a month, and then I went back to Kuwait for the remainder of my deployment. And when I was there, I was back to drinking normal, drip coffee, Folgers coffee, whatever, or green bean for all my military folks. You know, green bean is one of those things that you get what you get, you don't throw a fit. And that's just kind of the world that I had up until when I got back. And when I got back, I told my wife, you know what, coffee is just one of those things that we spend a lot of money on it. We spend $15 to $20 a day taking our kids, going to Starbucks or Dutch Bros. We were in Colorado Springs, and that was just really popular there. And it was a huge drain on our finances. And so I convinced her to go and buy a Breville Barista Express. It was like $600 at the time, but I had done the calculation and showed her that, you know, if we do it ourselves, it'll cost us like $1 to make a nice latte versus, $5 or $6 if we go and get one from Starbucks. And the main positive being that it just tastes better. And so she thought I was a little bit crazy, but let me take the plunge, and I went out and bought this Breville Barista Express, and from there it just kind of snowballed. And it really ruined us, honestly, because we could never go to Starbucks or Dutch Bros or anywhere really. The coffee just never tasted as good. And she always comments how great my coffees are, and that she can't ever drink anything else. So we had that machine from December of 2019 up until about a month and a half ago. And it was great. Those machines are great beginner machines. They have a built-in grinder. They've got the steam one. They've got like a hot water spout, and they do a good job. But I was having a lot of issues dialing in my shot. I'm kind of a perfectionist when I start getting really passionate about something, and I couldn't get a perfect shot. I had a bottomless portafilter similar to the one that you see in my videos now, and I couldn't get that great shot without having a lot of channeling and spurting, and it just wasn't pretty, and it was super messy too. And so I decided, you know what, I got to do some research and figure out what the problem is. And when I looked out online, a lot of the people that I was reading their reviews on the grinder, and they were saying that it's just not that great of a grinder. It's kind of conical burr grinder. It's not bad, but it's not great. And if you really want to have perfect consistency with your shots and your grind, you should get a flat burr grinder. So I did a little bit of research and looked on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, and I found my current machine and the grinder on there. The girl had both of them that she'd inherited from her grandpa when he had died, and she had no inkling of how to use it, didn't really want to learn how to use it, and just kind of wanted to offload it. So I got kind of lucky in that sense. The isomac is a little bit older, so I was a little bit worried about it having issues, but there was support online. There still is support to get parts if I needed to replace anything. So I knew that even if something was wrong with it, I could probably fix it myself. I'm a pretty handy person. So I convinced her to sell it to me for a lower price. I got the espresso machine and the grinder and a bunch of accessories for about $1,100, and that's a steal. If I was to buy comparable stuff brand new, you're looking at maybe $3,000. So I thought I got a great deal, and everything has been working great. The isomac, I did have to replace the shower screen on there and the gasket, but that was, maybe $35. And since then, it's been working awesome. The grinder has been great. My shots have been super consistent. The grind has been super consistent. And then when I, get the actual shot to extract, it comes out really great. So I think that that's probably the greatest upgrade that I made was the grinder, but having a new machine to top it all off has been great. So I ended up selling my Breville to another guy up in Austin, and he was just kind of getting into it. It's kind of where I was at back in 2019, and realized like he wanted to start doing it himself. And I kind of gave him a crash course in how to use it and what to do, and he got a pretty good deal for it because I included my bottomless portafilter, and I had a distribution tool, leveling tool, a bunch of different things that I threw in with that. So, you know, he's going to be well off, and he'll probably go down the rabbit hole very quickly also, because once you start opening up that can of worms, there's a lot to learn, and you realize like you can spend a lot of money. But you know, if you're just getting started out, I do recommend those Breville Barista Expresses. Honestly, Breville should be paying me a commission, because since we had ours, I think I've had 5 or 6 of my friends go out and buy these things because they came over and they had a coffee and they're like, holy crap, like these are amazing. So Breville, if you're listening, you know, I'll take my cut, please. But if you want to get started out and you don't want to spend $600, you can still get a pretty decent grinder, you know, for about $200. You can get like a Breville Bambino or something a little bit smaller for, you know, like $200. But you know, the Breville Barista Express is just as good, and you can get them used. I had the one that I bought in Colorado when we did our time in Korea. My wife and I brought that one out there to Korea, and when she moved back, we didn't bring it back, and so I ended up finding one on Facebook Marketplace here that was pretty much brand new for like $300. So you can find them for a good deal. And hopefully the videos that I'm making in this video can be a little bit of inspiration to you to maybe do it yourself. It's not as difficult as it looks. It's actually pretty straightforward. And you know, if you're looking at your finances and thinking, I don't know if I can afford it, well, ask yourself how much you spend on coffee right now. And if you're spending more than $5 a day on coffee, then you can probably afford to get a machine. You just have to be religious about it. You have to do it with your machine. You can't, you know, cave and say, oh, you know, I don't have time, I'm gonna go and just get one at Starbucks. If you keep caving, it's just not going to be cost effective. So you know, hopefully you can get a little bit of inspiration. If you have any other questions, you know, hit me up in the comments or DM me, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions. So I look forward to y'all following me or liking and enjoying my videos. And if you have anything else, let me know. All right.